I'm Jennifer Della Quadri, and this is Subtle Shifts, the podcast where you'll learn how to transform your life from the inside out, one small, meaningful shift at a time. Let's dive in. Welcome back to the podcast. If you're anything like me, you have had a moment in your life where you realize that you've been living life on someone else's terms, someone else's definition of success and what's really important. And you feel like you would really like to call in more authenticity in your life, more pleasure, and more of a life that's really on your terms. I invited my friend Goddess Brittney King on today to talk about just that. Brittney is a pleasure priestess, and she embodies that in every aspect of her life. Just talking to her, being around her, being in her orbit is a true inspiration, which is why I wanted to bring her on to the podcast. We're going to dive in today about what it means to live with more pleasure and how you can start to really reconnect with your body and why pleasure can be such a powerful healing force. We're also going to talk about how to navigate those moments when you realize you've been living life on someone else's terms and what to do about it. How you can take small, intentional steps to creating a life that is truly yours and on your terms. So get ready to be inspired and live a more present and pleasurable life. Let's dive in with Goddess Brittney King. Welcome to the podcast, Goddess Brittney King. I am so excited to have you here. You are such a light in this world. I tell you this all of the time. And when the opportunity to have you on presented itself, I was like, heck yes. So before we dive into all things pleasure, I would love to give you a moment just to tell my audience a little bit about yourself and who you are.
Yes. Well, thank you so much for having me on the pod. I am honored to be a guest and share what I do and how I serve. So I'm Goddess Brittney King. I am a pleasure priestess, but what I really do is hold space for women to remember who they actually are.
That's amazing. And when I met you and I heard your title, I was intrigued. I was like, what does that mean? And as people listen to this episode, as my audience hears more about you, they will definitely catch up on this. But the thing that really resonates with me when it comes to you is you are a fully embodied person. You are who you are unapologetically. And that is something that I aspire to be. And I know my listeners could certainly learn a little bit more about that. So I would love to hear a little bit about your background. What led you to be doing the work that you're doing in this world? What is your inspiration that's gotten you here?
Yeah, thank you so much for that beautiful reflection. Embodiment is my life's work, and it's because for so long I wasn't in my body. I was really disconnected. I used to say I would exist from like my eyes up. That was it. Felt very safe to be smart in my brain, use that. But like I could not feel things in my body. And it was really challenging to start to understand how disassociated and not present I actually was and how it would show up. It would show up as, oh, everything's fine, no matter what was going on. I was always, oh, everything's fine. Oh, do you have a need? Forget me or what I might need. Let me put you first. Let me drop everything for this other person. Let me stop what I'm doing. I just felt constantly running, hustling, and performing life. I was performing life because I thought that's what other people wanted from me and that's what would be safe and that's how I'll receive love. And it was killing me. It was killing me. And I was so dysregulated. I was constantly struggling with bouts of depression, then anxiety. I suffered from disordered eating. I didn't know how to feel. I didn't know what was a yes or what was a no. Like I was performing sex. Like I was performing everything. And for me, it was a big trauma moment, trigger warning, sexual assault. I was raped, and it was a really violent experience wherein in it, I floated out of my body and had this like God moment of like, you can either keep going the way you're going and you might die. This is where it's heading. Or you can choose something different. You can choose to live. Like, what do you choose? And it was so confronting. So confronting. And I came back into my body, and that is what actually got me out of that situation with my life. But I started being with that sacred inquiry of like, what am I choosing? Am I choosing death? Am I choosing performance? Am I choosing living for everyone else? The next month, my mom was diagnosed with stage 4 cancer. It was like a rare form of lung cancer. And it was all the things. It was very rare, very rare, very rare. But her lungs started talking to me. And I'd never had any kind of spiritual awakening. Like it was just, that wasn't where I was in my life. Mm-hmm. And so I'd never experienced anything, but the message was the exact same message of like, you can keep going the way you're going. This is where it leads, or you can choose to live your life. You can choose joy. What do you choose? And I was like, okay, this is not an accident. I have to start showing up in my life differently. I have to start making different choices. And, you know, the gift of the universe, I shared my story of my assault with the right person. And she was like, okay, I'm going to help you make this video. I was working for BuzzFeed at the time. She was like, I'll help you make this video about sexual assault. And she took me to her other work, her other dance, which was a pole dancing studio. And that place completely changed my life. It completely changed my life because that's where I finally started to see what was actually happening. I started to understand how not present in my body I was, how much I was giving away my power, how much I was suffering, thinking that this is the only way to get love. And I started tuning into myself and I started getting quiet with myself. And it was like, what would feel good to me? What would delight me? What would feel good in my body? And so pleasure became my teacher and pleasure became my healer. And I learned that pleasure is healing. Pleasure is an invitation, and you can live a pleasurable existence, and it is safe to trust your pleasure. And so many of us, like, I know my story might resonate with quite a few people where it's like, we're not alone. Like, I wasn't taught you could be in pleasure. In fact, quite the opposite. Quite the opposite. I wasn't taught like, oh, you should just follow what feels good in your heart. And it was like, no, there's a right way to do things and a wrong way to do things. And that dichotomy was having me suffer. And so it was my finding the space of pleasure that led me on my path to being who I be.
It's an incredible story of taking lessons you've learned and shifting it into a way to serve the world. And there's so many parts of your story that resonate with me, in that there are moments in our lives that we are awakening to, is this what we really want? And I have conversations with people all of the time, women all of the time, who have checked all of societal's boxes, right? Like, I've done all the things I'm supposed to do, and here I am in this phase of my life thinking, is this it? I get that question from people all of the time, and I myself have asked that question. And all of that is beautifully reflected in your story. You chose to listen to that voice, and you chose to lean into the possibility and what was available to you and what you wanted versus the safe, quote unquote, staying where you are. Mm-hmm. And it's so inspiring to hear someone who's done that and is now on the other side, which is why I really wanted to bring you on the podcast to talk about it, because you've been through some really hard shit.
Yeah.
And you're not letting that shit define who you are and who you are going to be and your purpose. And you talked a lot about pleasure. Mm-hmm. So many women are disconnected from that word. And if they are even given the question of what do you want or what feels good to you, they don't even know. Mm-hmm. Right? Because you're thinking, and just like you said, from the eyes up, my brain wants to answer that question. My body does not know how to answer that question because I don't feel safe or comfortable or whatever talking about it or even imagining it. So my brain is going to go to what I've heard is acceptable to want, right? A lifestyle, a degree, a job, whatever, the kids, the house. This is what I've been told that I'm supposed to want. And then so many people get to that phase where they're like, wait, I have all of that shit. And I'm like, still not feeling the pleasure.
Yes. I felt that way so viscerally. It just felt like, boo, I want a refund. Like, I went to the best college. I went to Tufts University. I got all the degrees. I had the A's. I was doing all the things. I was dating the guy. You know, we're talking about being, and it was just like, and inside, I just wanted to scream and cry because I'm like, everyone told me if you do all of this shit, you're gonna be happy and you're gonna experience so much pleasure and it's gonna be great. And that was not how I felt. That was not how I felt. And so I so resonate with like, we answer from our head and we forget like we're actually in a body.
Yeah.
And this body is so divinely intelligent. It is so divinely intelligent if we allow ourselves to listen. If we allow ourselves to do the inner work to start to regulate our nervous system. Something I do with a lot of my clients is like, let's just put our hands on our heart and breathe in and let yourself know I am safe. Let yourself know I am safe. And then feel your own skin, feel your hand on your chest, feel that warmth, that connection. There's pleasure there. There's pleasure in every moment if you allow yourself to see it, to experience it. And so often we're so busy with our lists and our totes and running from here to there, we're not actually present to experience it. I'll never forget, I was in a class and I like rushed to like put up my hair. So, you know, just very like, it's there, it's up. And my teacher was like, well, what did that feel like for you? And I was just like, what are you talking about? Like, what do you mean? Like, what do you mean? And she's like, what would it be like to take your time and really enjoy it? And I mean, anyone who's listening, you can do this now, but it's like, what would it be like to like run your hands across your scalp or smell your conditioner or really luxuriate in the energy of like touching your own hair, like, and being in that moment. And so many of us have been taught like that's not safe. That will attract the wrong attention. So you should just hold it small, keep it to yourself, you know, and not be that. But it's like us not experiencing life, it's costing us everything. It's costing us the moments. It's costing us our connection. It's costing us the joy that we are seeking.
Yes, it is. And the one thing that I know you say that really resonates is that even if you desire to have more pleasure, someone listening is like, I know it for me too. I desire to have more pleasure and more joy, but leaving the known or doing things that are different is scary. It's like, the known may not be exactly what I want, but it's also the known. So there's comfort there. And so when you imagine like really just allowing the pleasure to flow and really just embodying all of that, it's like, whoa, but then I'm like, there's an identity crisis happening. That's not who I am.
Oh, yeah.
So can we break it down?
Yeah.
Talk a little bit about what is pleasure? Like somebody listening is like, I don't even know what that means for me anymore. How can they start the inquiry? So by your definition, what does pleasure mean to you?
For me, pleasure is an experience of the senses. It's an experience of the senses. So smell, taste, touch, feel. It's an experience of the senses. And it's an opportunity to tune into our presence and connect to what's actually there and what's lighting us up. What's actually there and what's lighting us up. So I was literally coaching someone about this before we got on this call about that identity shift. And the scary moment of, but this is all that I know. This is literally all that I know. And so what you're talking about feels so scary and so foreign, and I don't even know where to start. Am I too late? Am I too old? I'm too this, like all the reasons of like, I don't know if that's an option for me, but it's something that is so primal to all of us. Our nervous system is hardwired to seek pleasure and avoid pain. We are actually always trying to find what is pleasurable. And sometimes there is a meshing of this is familiar, hashtag comfortable. So we're like, okay, well, then this is fine. This must be what it is. Yeah. And so I think of pleasure as what you get to experience when you're present with yourself fully. What you get to experience when you're present with yourself fully.
Yeah. And that's a practice.
Yes. Yes. It is not a one and done. Like it wasn't, I went to this one pole dancing class thing. I'm cured. I can set a boundary. I'm just so embodied and like having orgasms left and right. Like, no, that was not the truth. Every day it is a practice to tune into pleasure. It's a practice to ask yourself, what would I like in this moment? What would feel good? Or if you're feeling something good, what would make this experience even better? What would make this experience even better for myself? And allowing yourself to be present in that experience. Smell it, taste it, feel it, hear it. One of my favorite things to be with is just nature, you know? And so a lot of times when we think about pleasure, we're the categories for America, you know, it's very like, okay, it's something that's in the bedroom. It's a gift for your husband. And that's where the buck stops.
Right.
But we can experience pleasure all the time. Like the pleasure of winter ending and it's the first warm day and you go outside with a blanket and feel the sun kissing your skin. Can you allow yourself to be in that pleasure? Or feel the wind going through your hair? Or laughing with your best friend so hard that you guys fall down, you know? There's so much pleasure that we're not even always open to of like, that is pleasure too. And so allowing yourself to lean into those moments of pleasure and say, you know what? I am open to more of these moments. I am open to more connection with myself and with others in ways that feel good to me.
Yeah. And what really is important to be able to have those experiences is to practice presence wherever you are. And in our distracted society, our distracted, hustle-driven, you know, productivity society, the to-do list is always there, the distraction is always there, and there can be a misunderstanding of what pleasure is versus like what it is for you. So there may be society saying pleasure is eating a bowl of ice cream, and maybe ice cream upsets your stomach, right?
Yeah, that's me.
And so that's where, right? Pausing and giving yourself intentional time set aside without the distractions to be in the inquiry of what is pleasurable for me, but also allowing yourself to, when you sense it, and when you're like, oh wait, hold on, I'm actually feeling it right now, to allow yourself to feel it. Because I know a lot of people, women especially, might feel a little guilt. Guilt and possibly shame, especially around physical pleasure. Shame, like, we don't talk about that. Like, what do you mean? That's private, right? And when it's private and it's shameful, how could it possibly feel good?
Oh, yeah.
Right? And so that's part of the embodiment that you talk about all of the time, is like living your full embodied self. And when we're talking about practice, my whole platform is built on subtle shifts. It's just, it doesn't have to be you're diving into the pool and you're suddenly like walking around naked in nature, rolling around in the leaves. Like, maybe you're not ready for that yet.
Yes.
Yes. Just walking on the path and observing a leaf and picking it up and looking at it. And that might be your pleasure. And that's your subtle shift for then. that eventually might open up to more things. Right?
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
now that we have a little bit of an idea of what pleasure is and how to start to become aware of what's pleasurable, I know you work with a lot of people on this. From your perspective, what shifts for a woman when she allows herself to feel pleasure on a regular basis?
When a woman allows herself to feel pleasure on a regular basis, I've noticed there's a slowing down, just a complete slowing down. There's allowing herself to be, allowing herself to take up space, allowing herself to exhale and let her belly expand. There's presence, there's allowing, there's freedom. I feel like pleasure gives us access to this freedom that a lot of times we're thinking it's outside of us, but the freedom actually lives inside of us. Like I think about myself, I have a pole in my living room, and I think about the point where I'm like, I'm dancing, and all my movement is about following my pleasure and the freedom and ecstasy I feel in my body, or seeing my clients like expand themselves, find this stretch, find this beautiful shape, and they're like, this just feels so good. And from that goodness, they're finding alignment. They're finding truth. They're finding clear. It's like, oh, well, I already know that's not for me. I know that isn't for me. I know this is for me. I know I want this. They're able to answer the question, this is what I want.
Yes.
Like, you know, it's no accident when you're like, so many of us, I was like, I cannot tell you how many of my initial interactions with people, I'm like, well, what do you want? Well, I don't know.
Uh-huh.
I don't
I
know.
get
Maybe
that too.
this,
Yes.
maybe that. I think this, not I know. We're moving from our brain and into our body. It's from our brain and into our body, because our body has this innate wisdom. And when you allow yourself to be present, when you allow yourself to find pleasure, you can actually hear your body more clearly. You can hear your body more clearly, and then you get to show up differently.
Right. I love the idea that it helps you know what to say yes to and what to say no to. Because when you're disconnected from your body, you are working from your conscious mind, and your body will always know the truth. Always. When you ask a question, or even when you are around someone, your body knows this person is for me or this person is not for me, right?
Yep.
And the more you can tap into an embodied life
Yes.
and being in the present moment, the more you can really truly be yourself, which is the message that you say over and over and over. I help women know who the fuck they are, or
Yes.
remember who the fuck they are. Because like you said, when I ask people, what do you want? The immediate answer is, I don't know. And it's always with this like resignation. I don't know. Right? When I know that they know, they just haven't had the chance to remember it. It's like these layers of paint have been slathered over who they really are. And when you tap into pleasure, you're chipping away those layers and allowing yourself to be like your childlike self, the one that's filled with all the love and compassion and hope and belief. And it's not muddied by all of the stories that you've internalized over the years.
I could not agree more. Me starting this path for myself, I really felt like I was just shedding layer after layer and remembering the truth of who I am. And the truth of who I am, it's kind of like an origin story thing. So I think I was 8 maybe, and it was a family reunion, and my family is a bunch of hams. So everybody was like, let's do a talent show, everyone's going to perform. And it was in the 90s, and TLC's Creep was like
Nice.
the height song, and I loved it. And they had silk pajamas and like fans.
Yes.
And me and my sister were like, we are going to dance to that thing. And I had my like light up sneakers and my hot pink mini skirt. And I just remember feeling like we did a dance where we like shook our hips and like waved our arms. And I just remember feeling so happy. Like I was just happy and free and in my pleasure. And I remember so many people applauding and so many, all the things. And then I saw my dad's face, my dad, the minister.
Mm-hmm.
And there was shame
Mm-hmm.
and guilt and judgment and hitting and all the things. And the messages that I took was, it's not safe. And my pleasure is not for me. It's not allowed. And so many of us, whether you've had a similar story, but there's some kind of messaging, there's some kind of conditioning that comes in where it's like, this is not okay. So a lot of my work is getting to the point of like, what are the root causes? What are the beliefs that you're holding? What are the stories that you were told of why it is actually why it's not okay? How do we let go of those and starting to rediscover who you actually are? And that's why it's like the remembering. It's like, you'll start to remember the things that you loved as a kid, the things that felt good. And you'll be able to start to follow that and you'll start to remember it in your body. You'll have somatic experience of like, I know what my intuition sounds like.
Yeah.
I know what it feels like when I really like something. I know what it feels like when I'm like a full body yes, and being able to connect with those parts of ourselves, it transforms your entire life.
Yeah.
It's transformed mine. I have client after client. They're like, my life is completely different. And the life that I dreamed, I'm living something that's even better than my dreams. And it's just like pleasure. Pleasure will take you someplace that's even better than your dreams.
It's such a good reminder. And you wake up every day and you're like, this is my life. And all it took was being willing to let go of who I thought I was so that I could be who I really am. And that's scary as fuck, right?
Yes.
You spent thousands of dollars on this education, on these programs, on the books, and you worked your way up a corporate ladder, for example, or you've like killed yourself to achieve these things. And the shedding of those layers, it's like letting go of those, even though it's a weight, letting go, it can be hard because your subconscious wants to, your conscious wants to hold on to it. Like this is right? So doing the work to really let it go. And I know one thing, part of your offering is doing retreats and group things. Yeah. And this is, I'm going to tell a quick story, and I'd love to talk a little bit more about the retreats experiences that you offer. But when I was in yoga teacher training, yoga obviously is a very embodied practice. It's very structured. Yoga is very structured. It's like you put your right foot here and your left hand there. And that feels safe. Like for me and somebody who didn't grow up doing dance and things like that, like yoga felt good. It felt like a dance, but it was very scripted. And it's like, this feels good and safe. And in our yoga teacher training, we had an experience where we were in small groups, and we were, in the invitation was to do our movement just through our intuition. So there was music on, and we were in a small group. Everyone around us was holding space. So there were people around you in the circle to make sure that you didn't like go off and like run into a wall because our eyes were closed. Close our eyes, listen to the music, feel the movement, feel the music, and let our body just do what it wanted to do.
Yeah.
And then there were people around us holding space to witness. Yes, this can be done alone. I could have done that in my living room with nobody home and nobody seeing, but to be able to have it be held by people who I felt comfortable and safe around made it even more magical, because in the movement I was able to just not think about what it looked like or care what it looked like, and really just be in my body and trust my body's knowing. Right? And tell me a little bit more about, from your perspective, what happens when women are in a community, and a safe community, a very sacred container, and they're allowed to really follow their own intuition in a movement practice or in any type of work when it comes to pleasure.
Yeah. Honestly, it's pure magic. It is pure magic. When women gather together, there's something that is so primal, something so sacred, ancient. Like, we've been gathering together in groups around the fire in community from beyond since the beginning, since the beginning. So having sacred space where women are able to be in that energy, there's like an ancient remembering of I belong, I'm safe here. I'm safe here, and these are my sisters. And there's a lot of work that is so very structured and masculine, like the way that yoga is, and the feminine is different. The feminine is like nature. She's like the river. She flows and she moves, and being in a container where you can feel that and experience that and remember that part of yourself, it changes you, because you stop fighting something. You stop fighting something to try to conform, to try to fit, And so the magic that happens when we gather as women is something that is truly extraordinary. I feel so gifted. I had the opportunity to go to an all-girls school for 6th grade through 12th grade. And it was a really unique experience because I was around all women. Like, I started going to women's circles since I was in 11th grade. We had them in school, and it was it was called Life Skills, and it was a women's circle, and it was about listening and how to hold space for each other. Like, what a unique experience. And it wasn't until I started to go out in the world that I realized so many women don't have that experience. They don't have that tools, and they didn't know. And one of the biggest reflections that I've heard on this is people have come to our retreats and said, like, I feel like I didn't realize I was starving until you fed me. That is where the ache is. That is where the depth of it is, of like, this was something that was so primally missing. I wasn't aware of it, but now that it's fed, I'm like, oh my gosh, how have I been living so long without this? Without this community, without the space to be held by the sacred witness, to feel that understanding and that community of we're just here together. And it's something that I have experienced. I feel that women heal in community. You can absolutely do it by yourself, but I have witnessed and held space for and experienced some of the most incredible magic, whatever word you want to, like, transformation in community. And it's powerful when you say yes to these experiences, because it's not like, oh, okay, I like went to this thing for a weekend and I met these people and like I cried once and like that was fine. You find new sisters, people who know the truth of who you are. Like, there are women who I've had experiences with where I've danced with and I've bared my soul to them. I couldn't tell you her name or her job, but my soul knew her soul. And we connected and we stayed connected. And the bonds that I've created from that space, it's life-changing energy. You have the opportunity to change your life and be supported by other women who know, like, I know what it's like. I know what it's like to stand there and scared, because I was standing there with you.
Yeah.
I was standing there with you, but we held hands, we leaped, we leaned, we laughed, we remembered, we howled at the moon, and we like had a great fucking time. And it's just like, oh my gosh, I remembered the truth. I remember the truth of who I am. I remember the truth of why I'm here. And I have sisters and I don't have to do this by myself. Like, what a gift.
A true gift. And it is a really important reminder that we don't have to do this on our own. We were not meant to do this on our own. And so many women have internalized that they have to hold it all together. And this is like old generational patterns. Like, what will they think? What will they think? And I need to make sure that I have my life look a certain way, my whatever, all my shit together.
Yeah.
So they think that I have my shit together, but nobody has all of their shit together. And when you're able to be with other people who are going to be completely transparent, it's like, oh, wait a second, we actually are together on this. And the amount of power that can come through the remembering and the confidence and the soul connection that you make with somebody who doesn't give a shit what your job is or how much
Yes.
you pay or
Yes.
what kind of car you're paid and what kind of car you drive. They don't care because they see your heart and you
Yes.
see theirs. And so everybody who's listening, I'm sure, has had an experience where they have a friend and they haven't talked or seen each other for a year and they get together and it's like no time has passed.
Yep.
That's a soul connection. And when you're in a community where there's someone there to hold the space, someone as powerful as you, Brittney, who is willing to hold the space and provide that experience and the safety, nobody is going to be the same when they walk out. And what an amazing opportunity that you're providing. And that's also why I really wanted to bring you on, is to let everyone know that there are places to go where you can be safe and held and you can remember who you are. And it doesn't have to take a long time. And the way you describe it, it can be fun.
Yes. Fun is my number one value. Fun is my
Same.
number one value. And like sometimes we're in our healing journey and people, it's all so serious, you know, you got to sit seriously and no. And it's like, hold on. And it's like, oh, no.
Right.
I'm here for fun. I'm here for pleasure. It's like we can let go of an ancient family pattern and laugh and play and frolic and put on temporary tattoos and glitter. You know, you get an opportunity to be and to be seen and to be held. And, you know, if you're listening to this conversation, like, know that this exists and that this is for you. For so many years, I didn't know places like this existed. I didn't know that I could have friendships at this depth, at this realness. And I think about my community now and the community who's attracted to me. It's like, I haven't had a small talk conversation in like 10 years, you know? I'm leading with my heart and I'm being met with others who also want to lead with their heart, who want to share, who want to be seen. And so, well, is it okay if I share a little bit about my upcoming retreat?
Absolutely. Tell us about it. Yes.
Yeah. So my upcoming retreat is called the Goddess Experience, and I am co-hosting it with my wife, who was just on your podcast.
Yes, she was.
Yes, talking about the unconscious mind. And what it truly is, it is not you come with us and you're going to learn how to be a goddess. No. It's deeper than that. It's a sacred invitation to remember who the fuck you are, to own your greatness, to love yourself unapologetically, to remember your regalness and that you are wearing a crown. And we are so blessed. We found the most incredible land. It is sacred land with healing water in the jungle of Puerto Vallarta. Oh, there's just fresh altars everywhere. The food is chef food that's all high vibration, no seed oils. They make everything from scratch. You're in these beautiful open air casitas. The river is going right there. It's private. We rent the entire thing out. And it is 5 days of deep transformational work where we're laughing, we're playing, we're letting things go, and you will not leave the same. And one of our clients who's given us permission to share, she told us, she was like, before I came here, I didn't know how to love myself. And my life was reflecting that. And she was like, the love you've shown me in this experience, like I now know how to love myself. And we offer integration with our retreats because you got to go home. So we offer integration on retreats. In the months after integration, her life completely changed and reflected her own self-love. So with us, we plant the seed and we're with you. Oh, I dropped it. We're with you, watering it, supporting it growing, reminding you, being the sun as it grows so you can live the life that you've always wanted to live. Have the experiences that you've always wanted to have, you know, travel, fun, community, family, prosperity, you know, and it would be an absolute honor to have you. And so anyone who's a part of this community, I mean, there's going to be a link. You are offered the early bird pricing as for however long we are offering it, and there are only 4 spots left. It's a very intimate container. We just hold 9 women, so there's a lot of connection time with us, a lot of depth. It would be an honor to hold you.
It sounds amazing. And what an incredible team you and Lisette are. And also for the person who's listening and is thinking it is selfish to go on a retreat, right? That's all about me and my pleasure. My invitation as someone who goes to that area as well, in my mind, is this is the most generous thing you could do. Because the more people who know who they are and are living authentically and in their purpose and love themselves, the better connection everyone is going to have. If everyone is more aligned with themselves, there's going to be less arguing, less fighting, less judgment, less disconnect. And that is the most generous thing you could ever do as a person, as a woman, as a mother, as a sister, as a daughter. I highly recommend clicking the link in the show notes and reserving your spots. As Brittney says, they're going fast, so make sure you get in there quickly. Before we wrap up, as we've had this wonderful meandering conversation, are there any final words that you would like to share with my audience?
Yeah. I just want you to know that pleasure is your birthright. It is not a privilege. It is not something you have to earn. It is not something that you work for. It is your birthright. And I am here and I am a stand for you having your birthright. It belongs to you. Claim it.
Yes, so powerful. And I'll have links to where my audience can find you, to learn more about you, to get to know you a little bit better. I really appreciate you coming on here and sharing your wisdom, sharing your time. It's been such a pleasure talking with you.
Oh my God, the pleasure has been absolutely mine. Before I leave, just letting your audience know I have a special gift for you all. There's going to be a link and you can get a pleasure awakening meditation. And this is something you can do anywhere. It's like 10, 11 minutes. You can do it anywhere. Just pop it in your ears to connect with your pleasure, because pleasure is your birthright. And let's start with those little shifts to connect ourselves to our pleasure in every moment. Thank you so, so much for having me.
Absolutely. And what a perfect way to start, right? A free resource from Brittney. So thank you so much. And I really appreciate you coming on today.
Thank you.
Thank you for joining me. If you're ready to take the next step in transforming your life, be sure to subscribe so you'll never miss an episode. And if something resonated with you today, I'd love to hear about it. Share your thoughts, tag me on social media, or leave a review to help others find the podcast. Remember, the smallest shifts can create the biggest transformations. I look forward to hearing from you.